Welcome to Leveraging Inspiration, the Inspired Patent Podcast, where we help you understand and leverage your intellectual property. I'm your host, Wayne Carroll, and I'm excited to bring you insights and stories from the success and failures of others and teach you how to win at the game of intellectual property. Here's the disclaimer. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not providing legal advice. Nothing in this podcast should be construed as creating an attorney-client relationship. This week, we are talking about the internal company IP processes. And in this episode, we're going to talk about creating a culture of intellectual property. Did you know that companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, and IBM that are renowned for their great culture also prioritize intellectual property protection as part of that culture? The link between a great culture and strong IP is undeniable. There was actually a study done that was published in the MIT Sloan Management Review in 2017 that showed there is a direct correlation between ideas submitted by employees that are implemented and profitability and growth of a company. So the more ideas per employee, the highest one they found was out of 1,000 employees on a system that gathered feedback from employees, out of 1,000 having 500 ideas that came from them that were actually implemented in a year was the highest one. And that company actually had some of the highest growth and highest profitability. So building a strong IP culture not only safeguards innovations, but also fosters an environment that promotes creativity, increases profits and growth, and it's also going to, of course, enhance the overall value of your company. What you need to do is figure out how you're going to reward intellectual property creation or idea transfer in a company. Rewarding innovation and creativity will bring more innovation and creativity. You reward what you want more of. Incentives are helpful. The recognition, it can be more than a money incentive. When members of your team or your business see that they are a valuable member of a team striving to accomplish a mission, then protecting the intellectual property will be a tool that helps them accomplish the mission. Creating a culture of protecting intellectual property needs to be within an intentional culture of a company. Creativity needs structure and space. One of the systems that we use in our law firm is called EOS. It stands for Entrepreneur Operating System. It's written by Gino Wickman. EOS can create this space and a structure for innovation and intellectual property by encouraging people to, well, one of the things we do is there are quarterly goals. We encourage every single person in the business to create a goal each quarter we call a ROC. And this goal, especially if you have a culture of innovation and creativity, can focus on testing a new idea, testing to see if, or building something to see if it works. And that gives them, and this is done as a group and reported on regularly to see how it's progressing. This gives people the clear understanding that they are going to do something, they're going to take a risk for the benefit of the team. It might not work, it might work, but they're not going to be penalized, and they're encouraged to take the time and the effort to take this risk. That's what's needed to have a culture of innovation and creativity. Allow people and say, we want you to try to identify things that need improving and try to improve them. It might not work. It might not result in something that works. And that's one way that you can create a structure around innovation by encouraging quarterly goals around innovation. So during a quarter, they can be gathering ideas of what do I want to do next quarter? As an idea comes up, they have a list that they want to put it on, saying, these are ideas when I get to the end of the quarter to work on. This does two things. For those who are, they love ideas, it helps them not to dive in too deep into an idea, neglecting the other ideas that they're working on. And so once a quarter, they evaluate, what is the idea that really I want to figure out, I want to solve. I have a whole bunch on my list. If I can focus on just one for a quarter to prove something, will it work? Will it not work? And then during that quarter, I can put as many ideas as I want on the list, but I'm not going to get distracted by new ideas. I'm going to focus on the one and figure it out. So that's what we do in our company, following the process called Entrepreneur Operating System, or EOS. There are systems that some companies implement to get feedback from employees as well as customers. And those systems can aggregate information and make it easier to see where are problem areas in a company or from the customers. And it can give you great guidance in where you need to solve problems, where there's opportunities. Problems can be opportunities, and they often are. So some of the things you can do, of course, is subscribing to this podcast, Leveraging Inspiration, to learn about intellectual property. This podcast is published live on IBGR Network on Fridays at 3 p.m. And it's also published on the website leveraginginspiration.com, as well as anywhere that you get your podcasts. The next thing you can do is educate and train. Connect intellectual property protection to your company's vision, mission, core values, and business plan. This will help give a purpose, showing employees that when they come up with a new idea, when they submit saying, hey, here's a problem and here's a solution, they're pushing forward the mission of this company. And ideally, that's one of the reasons why they join the company, why they want to stay with the company. So if they're encouraged and actually seeing things that they do are pushing that mission forward, then they'll want to stay, they'll want to keep going. And that's one of the parts of educating and training, and making that connection really clear for your employees, that safeguarding intellectual property is pushing the mission forward of the business to solve the problems that the business is set up to solve and to make the world a better place. We also encourage that you develop an IP strategy and determine, with the company you want to become, what kind of intellectual property does that company need? The company of the future, that's you. And working with an attorney to figure out, how do you get from where you're at to there, and figuring out the budgets and the timelines and what you can do to make that happen. Of course, policies and procedures sounds boring, but they're not just something on paper. They need to be something that's living in your business. And if you implement internal policies and procedures that help you, of course, with as you bring employees in, you train them. This is how we do things at our business. And this is why we want you to be part of our business and doing things this way. Of course, confidentiality agreements that are properly drafted. We had discussed that last week. And also encouraging people to disclose inventions, and having a system set up that when an invention is disclosed in your business, it may be a quarterly basis that You have a committee that reviews those inventions and says, what is it we need to move on? What is it that is a great opportunity? And then take that to the next step, which the next step may be working with a patent attorney or doing some more internal market research to prove out the idea. And of course, working with professionals, patent and trademark attorney. And the last thing you want to do is have regular IP audits, conduct periodic audits to assess where are your intellectual property assets at. You may have patents that are on old technology, but you're still paying fees to maintain those. An audit can help you determine we can stop paying that and not lose anything and just gain money because we're no longer paying those. Or it may be we definitely need to keep paying to keep those patents alive until the end of their term. And through that audit, you might also find opportunities that you had missed in looking at technology that might be licensed to others, as well as if there are new brands you've developed but haven't properly protected. So you can start by scheduling a consultation with a patent and trademark attorney at Inspired Idea Solutions Law Firm. You can find a link to it in the show notes, or you can go to Z3IP. That's Z as in zebra, the number 3, and IP as in intellectual property.com. I'm Wayne Carroll, and this is Leveraging Inspiration. You've been listening to Leveraging Inspiration, the Inspired Patent Podcast. We are live on ibgr.network at 3 p.m. Eastern Time every Friday. You can also find us anywhere you find your favorite podcasts. Our show today is sponsored by Inspired Idea Solutions Law Firm, an IP boutique law firm where we put your strategy first, use a proven process for success, and guarantee 0 hidden fees. You can find us on the web at z3ip.com. That is Z as in zebra, the number 3, and IP as in intellectual property.com.